Hello everybody, Silverpicker here, and welcome to the Silverpicker Squad. Now, today's video is all about an exciting, creative, numismatic journey that I'm going to be going on, and I'm going to be taking you guys along for the ride. In fact, the whole theme of today's video is creativity, and I've been really feeling very creative for the last couple of weeks, and it just has my juices going. I mean, first off, last week you saw me drop my new merch. Really awesome design, super happy with it. A bunch of you have already picked up a few pieces, and I thank you very much. If you bought some or you decide to buy some today, definitely post a picture of you wearing it either to my Facebook or Instagram or even email it to me, and I will feature those pictures in an upcoming video. It would be awesome to get the whole squad decked out in this awesome design. So that's one creative thing. Another is last week I also updated my channel intro video. If you want to see what the old one looked like, this is what it was. Hello everybody, Silverpicker here. Yeah, enough of that. That is awful. So I had to do something, so I changed it. And if you guys are a longtime watcher of my channel, a longtime fan, I would love if you'd check out that intro video and tell me what you think of it. And my creativity is not just in the past, but it is also in the present and in the future. And speaking of presents and future, I got this. Kind of a lame joke. But anyway, this is a box chock full of coins, and yes, it is grab bag related, and I will be showing you a couple of different videos based on this monstrous package, and there may even be some interesting special guests as well. So you're gonna wanna stay tuned for that. Now, on to the stuff we're talking about today, this incredible numismatic journey that I am going to take you on. For those of you who don't know, a typeset is essentially a collection of coins, often displayed in an album, that goes through one of every single type of coin in a given series, in this case, the United States. So instead of having one of every single year and mint mark of the same coin, it has a variety of coins going throughout the entire history of the set. And that's why I love this so much. I mean, it's like going on a journey through all of American history every time you flip through this album. Now, this album in particular is made by a company called Dansko. Unfortunately, the US typeset albums made by Dansko, which is like the gold standard of type albums, is basically out of print and super hard to find. But Whitman and Littleton coins make pretty good alternatives, and of course you can just get a blank album of any type and make your own and just put your own labels in there. So now you probably have a good idea about what's going on with the title of this video. Now this is a paper currency album, and over the past few months, many of you may have noticed that I have been getting super into collecting paper money, currency, right? And I decided that I want to actually create a banknote version of a US typeset. So I want to get one of every single banknote produced by the United States and have it arranged in an album as a beautiful complement to my US typeset for coins. Really great idea, right? So I started looking online to see if there were any albums available, and it appears to me that there has never been an actual album made specifically for collecting a US typeset for currency. And it just doesn't exist. And that kind of blew my mind. I would have expected that somebody would have done this before. But moreover, there's not even a list of guidelines readily available on a blog or online or in a book that I can find that actually says what belongs in a US currency typeset. So here comes the creativity. I decided to design my own. Now, it's just the very, very beginning of my collection. So no judgment, all right? No judgment from you guys that it's really just the beginning. But what I want to do is I want to show you first what I have to start with, and then we can sort of talk about some of my goals and how we're going to actually fill this album out. And of course, naturally, I'll be taking you guys along for the ride. So I am super stoked to share this with you guys. This is my paper money album. It's a Littleton coin album, very, very high quality stuff. And until now, I've been using this generally just as my paper money album, and I've put everything I had in here of any value. However, now I am transforming this into my US typeset album, and I transferred everything that's not in there into this spare album, which will hold all my duplicates. So you can see here I've got my duplicate star notes, I've got some duplicate silver certificates, and of course some $2 bills and the higher denomination stuff. And I'm actually going to use this stuff, I hope, to trade up to stuff that I want to put in my typeset. So all that stuff will be available for trade at some point. So what we'll do is we'll start at the beginning and see what we got. So I started out my typeset with all of this fractional currency. So that means currency that is worth less than $1 face value. So we've got here 5 cents, 10 cents, a different 10 cent, a 25 cent, and a 50 cent note from all this fractional currency. Now, I have a full video I did on fractional currency, which you can check out right here if you want to, and I think it's kind of a cool way to start the collection off. So that's what we got first. In between each of these sleeves, by the way, is this black sheet so you don't see one bill coming through the other, and it just makes for a really, really nice visual experience. Over here we have this banknote from the state of Georgia that I got from a trade that I did with Christian from Treasure Town. If you want to see that video, you can check it out here as well. I don't think this will remain in the typeset because I'm only doing a US typeset, and this is not from the US federal government. It was minted, or I should say printed, by the state of Georgia. But for now I'm leaving it in there because I may end up just having one example of a state printed note in my typeset. What do you guys think? Then next up, I have a horse blanket note, and that's really cool, of course. And I love the reverse of that. I'll show you the reverse of that too. I love how green the old notes looked and just sort of how different they were. Even though you can see that it's still a US note, it looks very, very different than the modern greenbacks that we know today. Now next up you can see that I put some placeholders in here because I know that I will want to get a $1 red seal silver certificate. I believe those were made only for use in Puerto Rico. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And then of course the $1 silver certificate funny back note. The funny back note, I'll put in a picture right here, is called that because it kind of looks silly on the back, and it was the first small size silver certificate, I believe. Next up I have down here is this note you've seen in probably my most popular video, which is my North Africa $1 silver certificate note with the yellow seal. I love the different colored seals of US banknotes. I just think that they are so cool and I love seeing them all together. So once I get these two over here, I'll have a red, blue, and yellow all on one page, and I think that will be so cool. Now moving on to some of the more bread and butter type stuff, we have here an example of a silver certificate, and this is just a 1957B, but it is the best condition one that I have. You know, I don't actually have that many like really high-end banknotes, so the best condition one I have is still pretty circulated, so I'll probably replace that fairly soon. And here I have a Star Note silver certificate. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna end up keeping Star Notes in here. I think I am, but obviously I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually be getting Star Notes for every single type of bill that the US has ever produced. It might just get too outlandish and of course too expensive. So you'll let me know what you guys think. Then we've got some modern $1 bills. And these modern $1 bills are also things that may or may not end up staying in here. This is a Barr note, and it is only different because it has Joseph Barr's signature, and Joseph Barr was only the Secretary of Treasury for less than a month. So that's why this is pretty interesting, and because it's historically significant, I wanted it to be in there. A web note is, of course, an experimental form of printing that they did, which I've got a whole video, which you can also see over here. Man, I'm really doing some good self-promotion on videos. And this is just a standard Star Note. So I figured that because I'm gonna have to have a regular $1 bill, you know, a modern small size Federal Reserve note, $1 bill, I might as well make it interesting and have it as a Barr note, and to have 3 different varieties, Barr note, web note, and Star Note. I don't think I need another non-Barr note $1 bill because it's really the same thing, just with a different signature. And that's it for my $1 bills. As you can see, it is still very much lacking. There's a lot of really, really cool $1 bills out there that I still need to get my hands on. In terms of $2 bills, what I have is the United States note, which is the red seal from 1953, and this is the 1953A. This one is in crisp, amazing condition. I actually got this in my first grab bag that I got from Main Street Rare Coins, that first grab bag video I ever did, and that made it into my personal collection here. This is just a nice crisp 1976 standard $2 bill. And here, this is one that is really interesting. This is the bicentennial, because these bills came out in 1976. What a lot of people did is the day that these were issued, they went out to their bank, got one of these, then went over to their local post office, bought a stamp, had them affix a stamp, and cancel the stamp with the day's date, which of course in 1976 was to commemorate the bicentennial. There's an extra bicentennial stamp as well. And that's just a really cool piece of history. It's not, of course, a different note than this, but I had it and I still think that it belongs because it's cool and it is something that I enjoy looking at. Next up are $5 bills. I am very lacking in $5 bills. This is a 1985 that I pulled out of circulation when I was working as a bartender during college. And this is a modern star note. I haven't put in all the modern varieties yet. Eventually I'll get those, but you know, I just didn't have them on hand and I can basically get those out of circulation. Next up is my $10 page, which I'm pretty proud of. It is a really, really nice selection, of course. We've got over here, my oldest one is 1934A, and you can see that big lime green seal. You see over here we've got a 1950. This is sort of a in-between from the lime green large seal to the darker green seal that we know today. But even so, this is still a 1985 note. And then here we have a very modern note, which has Steven Mnuchin, who is the current Secretary of Treasury. And this one's from 2017, and it is, of course, a star note. So again, I will flesh this out by getting the ones that are in between these two notes and all that kind of stuff. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that if I have this note as a star note, that I should also have a non-star note version of this? And we're getting some more interesting stuff over here. This is my $20 page, what I have so far. I have a national currency note, and that's a brown seal over here. That is really, really cool. I love this banknote, and it's from New York, which is where I'm originally from. And this one is from 1929. 1929. And then we move up over here to 1934A, 1950C, and modern 2013. And I have this one in here because it has a very cool serial number. It is a true binary with just 9s and 2s. Yeah, I'd like to try and have, you know, my ordinary banknotes be as fancy as possible in here. I really want this collection to really, really pop. And we have the 50s. This one is a 1934A, and it's in really rough shape, but this one is really cool. I actually got this from the bank. A teller friend of mine saved it for me, knowing that I collected coins and banknotes, and I was very happy to get that. I got that in college from my local bank teller there. And this is 1950C in pretty excellent shape for its age, and I like that one as well. I think I might have gotten both of these actually at the same time from the same teller. And then a $100 bill, which is from 1950, and that is also pretty cool. It is nothing super special, it's in not particularly good shape, but I still like it. And you know, the thing about putting $100 bills in here is that it really does tie up a lot of capital, and it just sort of sits there. So I don't love that idea, which is why I don't have like the modern ones yet, because it really would just be putting, you know, $200 to just sit there. And that's what I have so far. Of course, I don't have the $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, or $100,000 notes. There is a pretty good chance I will never have a $100,000 note, but I actually kind of do strive to have the $5,000 and the $1,000. I think that that is doable. So I want to know what you guys think what I have so far. How do you think of my collection as a start? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it's totally lacking? Let's talk a little bit more about my plans for this collection and how you guys can help influence it. So now you see what I've got, right? You see what I've got so far, and I bet some of you think that it's a paltry collection of nothing, and some of you think it's an amazing start. But either way, that's the amazing thing about the diversity of our community. There's all sorts of opinions, everybody's got one, and I am happy to hear them both. But in any case, there are some still obvious holes in the collection, right? It is really just a start. And like some of the really iconic bills, like the 1899 $1 Black Eagle, or the 1907 $5 Woodcutter, or the 1901 $10 Bison, all gorgeous, gorgeous notes, hard to come by, and are definitely pieces that I would love to own someday. So in addition to those banknotes and plenty others, there are a lot of things we still need to discuss about going forward with this typeset project, right? Now, first off, I want to tell you the reason why I like banknotes so much. It's that there's such a big canvas for the beauty and art to be laid upon. Compared to coin collecting, I mean, there is obvious tremendous beauty on coins, and I am still primarily a coin collector, but on the coin, you have such a tiny little canvas to draw upon, but on a banknote, especially the large size banknotes, it's practically art. I mean, you could hang it on your wall and call it art, and that's what I really love about the banknotes, and that's what's gotten me so into them so far. But in terms of this project, we need to talk about three things. We need to talk about goals. Why am I doing this? 2, what to include and what to exclude. And 3, how to organize it. And we're going to talk about that now, and I am going to need your input, so stay tuned on that. So let's start with the goals. What exactly are my goals of this project? Well, my goals with coin collecting in general are really focused on 2 things: the aesthetic beauty and the history. Now, I'm excluding all the financial stuff because, as you know, I do a lot of buying and selling of coins and banknotes, but most of that stuff is the business. I buy it and I resell it for a profit. I don't actually keep it. But today we're just talking about the stuff that's in my personal coin collection, my personal banknote collection that I just keep because I love it. And for me, collecting banknotes and coins is all about the history and the beauty. And that's why I've never been that interested in date sets. I don't care about having 100 different Lincoln cents all in a row with different mint marks and dates. It's just not for me. I understand why people like it, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not for me. That's why I love typesets. So what I'd like to see come from this project is having an album that I can take off the shelf, flip through it, and enjoy it like a coffee table book with fine art, and just enjoy the art and the aesthetic beauty while also going through a journey through American history as I flip the pages. And to me, that would be perfect. So I think that some of these goals can help inform the decisions of what to include, what to exclude, and also how to organize it. So in terms of what's going to be in the collection, let's actually start with what's not going to be in the collection. Let's talk about the exclusions that I'm making right off the bat. I'm definitely not looking to get one of every single Federal Reserve letter for each bill, right? I don't need it to have every single letter from every single Federal Reserve bank, because then I'll just have pages and pages and pages of what look like the same note, and that doesn't fit my goal. Similarly, I don't want to have every single signature variation, because again, that could be the same looking bill with just a tiny little signature change. I compare those mostly to like dates or mint marks on other coins, where they're basically the same coin. You know, a wheat cent is still a wheat cent is still a wheat cent, regardless if it's a 1934 or a 1944. So I'm going to exclude the letters, and I'm also going to exclude signature variants. Additionally, I'm also going to exclude Confederate notes and notes that are produced by individual states. I'm only going for banknotes that are produced by the US federal government. And I think that that's a good framework to start with. It still leaves a heck of a lot of banknotes for this collection, and it is still going to be a very daunting task. Now, as any of you collectors watching out there, you know that one of the most fun things about a collection is how you decide to organize it, right? So I actually am at a crossroads here. I know, of course, that I'm going to organize it chronologically. However, do I do it chronologically by series or by denomination? And what I mean by that is, if it's by denomination, I would have all the $1 bills in the front, then all the $2 bills, then all the $5 bills, etc. And each section would start chronologically, so I'd start with, $18.99 $1 bills going up to $1 bills of today, and then go on to the $2 bills and then the 3. Or am I going to go by series, where I'd have the $1 bill from 1899, the $2 bill from 1899, the $5 bill, and so on, and then move on to, say, 1901, and 1901, 1901, 1901, and go through each denomination like that? I definitely would love to hear what your thoughts are and how you guys have your collections organized. And on top of all that, there are still plenty of unknowns and lots of questions, and I have 2 more for you. One is, do you think fractional currency belongs in this collection? I am not sure, right? Because first off, it is definitely part of the entire US currency collection, but it's almost like its own little collection, and it has so many different versions that it's like its own typeset. Do I need to include that? Should I focus on it? What do you guys think? Second is star notes. What about star notes? Should I be putting star notes in the collection? So far, as you saw, I have some, but does that mean that for every single banknote that ever had a star note, I need to collect that? And if I don't, then it's not a complete collection? I'm not sure if that really makes sense, so I'd love to hear your thoughts again in the comments below. So as you can see, I am ready to start working on this collection in earnest, and I think that this actually might be a really good project for me to work on sort of in a more intimate manner with my Patreon patrons. So those of you Patreon patrons that are watching right now, I'm going to post an additional video to the Patreon page, sort of talking a little bit more about my thoughts, and I have a little idea where I may end up even having you guys vote on which bills I buy next. So if you're a patron already, get excited for that. If you're not yet a patron, I would love if you'd consider becoming one. It is a very inexpensive way to support my channel and to support my mission of informing, educating, and entertaining people all about coin collecting, precious metal stacking, and even personal finance. And in return, you'll also get access to tons of patron-only videos, monthly silver giveaways, and of course, my private Discord chat, which is basically an amazing private chat room where only my patrons and me discuss coins, silver deals, and much, much more. I'd love to see you there. So what do you guys think about this project? Have you guys ever tried to do something like this? Do you have a US typeset? Do you have any kind of banknote typeset? Let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in going along on this journey with me and starting your own currency typeset. So I'm really pumped, as you can see, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you'd give a big thumbs up. Right there, just hit that thumbs up button, and of course share it with your friends. And most important, hit that big old red subscribe button. It is easy to do, and it is free. So I'd love it if you would do that. And of course, I've got a lot more awesome stuff coming down the pike, so stay tuned, and until next time, Silver Picker out. A huge thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. I cannot wait to start working on this awesome numismatic project with you guys and getting your input on it. And this week we are going to have the drawing for our monthly patron giveaway. So if you're not yet a patron, now's the time.